Hi, everyone. Happy Wednesday if you're watching this the day I post it. If not, happy whatever day it is. So we are going to be talking about terrestrial biomes today. And I have an exciting biome lesson planned for Friday. We'll talk about that at the end of the day. It does kind of have to do with Chris Harrison, if you know who he is. All right. Before we get to the biomes, let's go over the phosphorus cycle. So for the phosphorus cycle, remember I said that phosphorus is the only one where there's not really any in the atmosphere. So you can see there's not a number here, and it's just going to be dust flying through the air that's going to have phosphorus in it. So the actual atmosphere itself stores no phosphorus. The main sink for phosphorus is sedimentary rock. This is where most of it is stored. And basically what happens is the sedimentary rock comes up through geologic uplift, which we'll talk more about once we get to plate tectonics. And it's going to expose the sedimentary rock into what's called mineable rock. We're going to mine that. We're going to use it in fertilizers. But some of this is going to run off into the river, all right, just due to weathering. And then from there, it'll run off into the oceans, all right? So there's two things once it happens. Once it gets to the ocean, there's going to be some burial, and it's going to go back down turn into sedimentary rock and be stored in sedimentary rock again. Also, plants are going to take it up, aquatic producers. Consumers are going to eat it. The phosphorus goes there. Decomposition happens for both producers and consumers, and it's going to fall back to the bottom of the ocean again and become sedimentary rock. So you also have phosphorus in the soil. So this could be from the sedimentary rock, from weathering, getting into the soil as well. All right, so this could also be weathering. Plants are going to take up the phosphorus. Consumers are going to eat the plants. Decomposers are going to break both of them down and return the phosphorus to the soil. This one's pretty simple, pretty easy. Nothing too crazy here. Again, the largest sink is sedimentary rock. And remember, answer in the chat, or not in the chat. Answer in either the comments on the YouTube video or make a private comment if you're watching on Google Classroom, answering how do you think humans have affected the phosphorus cycle right now? All right, so hopefully you answered. So we're affecting it because we're actively mining it and using it in fertilizers. And remember, yesterday we said when fertilizers run off into water, it causes eutrophication to happen. And eutrophication basically reduces the amount of oxygen in water and kills off a bunch of animals and plants in the water. All right, so biome time. So these are communities of plants and animals that are adapted to a specific climate, and each biome has a distinct climate. We're going to be talking about 9 to 10 different biomes. We won't be covering like the mountainous regions or the unvegetative regions. And I think that's about it. So these kind of 9 right here are the ones we're going to be focusing on in the chaparral. Our book calls them a little different than what the AP exam calls them. But you can see that the biomes are not just in one specific location. They're actually spread out across the globe. So if you look at, let's say, the tundra, you can see the tundra is here in North America, as well as here throughout Northern Europe and Asia as well. So they cross continents, and we're going to talk kind of about why that is later. All right, so they cross continents. It's not just, just marked all up my face. It's not just in one continent, the different biomes. Okay, so the factors that distinguish biomes are going to be latitude. So latitude, we'll talk about this when we get to weather, but latitude is really going to change the precipitation amounts as well as the temperature. So at higher latitudes, remember, so latitude goes this way. You can think of it as like the rungs of a ladder. Latitude goes this way. The higher latitudes, the more further away you get from the equator, which remember, the equator gets the most amount of sun. There's going to be less sun, so it's going to be colder the further north or south from the equator that you get. We'll talk about this when we get to weather, like I said, but that's also going to affect precipitation levels. So certain latitudes get more or less precipitation than others. Geography, so that's going to be like, are there mountain ranges next door? Mountain ranges can affect temperature and precipitation. Nutrient availability, is the soil really rich? Is the soil really like kind of dead? As well as soil type. So soil type, we'll talk about this, but there's clay soil, there's sand and soil. So what type of soil is there? So these are all going to change. So you can see on this graphic, if it's cold and has less precipitation, it's a tundra. If it's hot and has less precipitation, it's a desert. If it's hot and has a lot of precipitation, it's a tropical rainforest. So it's really going to be temperature and precipitation that determine the distribution of biomes across the globe, which is dependent upon, again, latitude. Okay, so the major biomes we're going to be talking about, we have the taiga, which here is called the boreal forest. So in your textbook, if you're looking up your biome, taiga is also called the boreal forest. Temperate rainforests, that's going to be like the Pacific Northwest. You can see there's really not a lot of temperate rainforests across the globe. It's really just like the Pacific Northwest over here and like Alaska. Temperate seasonal forests. These are also called deciduous forests. That is where we live. We are in a temperate seasonal forest. Seasonal means it sheds their leaves, right? Fall, our leaves are starting to turn if you look outside, because we live in a temperate deciduous forest. Tropical rainforest. This is going to be mainly around the equator, where it's wet and warm all year round. We have shrubland, which in our book is called the chaparral, and you can see it here. It's mainly in the Mediterranean as well as out in California. Temperate grassland. So this is going to be like the plain states, like the prairies. And there's also going to be some temperate grassland out in Eastern Europe as well as the Middle East and Asia. Savannah. So this is what we think of when we think of the Lion King. Savannah. So this is going to be also kind of around the equator. Large parts of Africa. We have some savanna in Australia. We also have a little bit in South America. Desert. All right. So the desert is going to be the largest one here is the Sahara. We also have here the Gobi Desert. There's going to be some desert in Australia. We also have some desert here in the United States and the southwest part of the United States. You can see there's some more desert spread throughout. We also have some here in South America as well as near Peru. Desert, or that's what I just said. Desert, tundra. Tundra is going to be at the most northern latitudes. That's just like ice, and it's going to be across the northern part of North America as well as over here in Europe and North Asia. All right, cool. So those are the biomes. But just know that the biomes do change. Biomes are not static things. So I'm sure you've learned about this, but in the early Triassic period, we had Pangaea. Pangaea was the supercontinent. That was when all of our current continents were kind of like mushed together. And that is going to make different biomes. All right. So because the continents were in different locations, there's going to be different biomes associated with that. So the biomes have changed. We actually can see our own biomes changing here in North America. So due to climate change, this was kind of not biomes, but it's kind of like a heat map. So this is the winter lows here. And you can see, like, obviously in Florida, it's going to be a lot hotter than in North Dakota. And it's predicted, I mean, this is already happening, that all of these zones are moving up. So you can see in 2040, what's predicted is that basically all these zones are just shifting up. So it's going to get warmer. So like in New York, we had some pretty cold winters, but now it's predicted, so here's us in New York, that we're going to go from being like a zone 7 to like an 8 or 9, which is pretty crazy. So the biomes are changing now pretty much due to climate change. There are natural associations with changes to biomes as well. All right, so let's just take a look at your interactive notebook. You have no idea what's in store for you. Okay, so we are going to do something called Bachelor and Biomes. I don't know if you guys watched The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, but the new season is starting next Tuesday. I'm very excited as a Bachelor watcher. So we're going to do Bachelor and Biomes. So each of you has been assigned a biome. If you're in period 1, you're going to click on the period 1 link. If you're in period 6, click on period 6. You'll find a list of your names with a hyperlink to a document. Look at it, exit out of the document, and start doing your research. It's going to tell you which of the biomes that you have been assigned to. There are some aquatic biomes, which we'll go over tomorrow in class. Or not in class, we'll go over tomorrow on a video. So you're going to be completing the following. Today, you are going to answer all of the questions in the following slides. Well, answer some of them. Tomorrow, you're going to be working again to complete the questions. And Friday, we're going to meet as an entire class for some speed dating. So basically what I'm asking you to do on Friday, we're all going to come together as a class. So A, B, and C, I want to meet on Friday. And you're going to personify your biome. So I'll explain a little bit more what that's going to look like, but basically you're going to act like what your biome would. If you go all out and dress up like your biome, you will get extra credit points. All right. So if you, for example, are, let's say you get the desert and you dress in all tan and maybe like, I don't know, or you could dress as like a cactus. I don't know. It's up to you. Dress like your biome. See if you can do it. The other really important thing is do not tell anyone else your biome. All right. That'll ruin the fun on Friday. And do not click on anyone else's name. All right. Do not click on anyone else's name. Click on your own name. So you're going to put your bio name here. So if you're the desert, you're going to say desert. And then you're going to go through and answer the questions. So where are you from? You would put a distribution map in that box. If you don't want to put it in the box, delete the box and just put a distribution map there. All right. So the distribution map is like what this is. All right. So you should be looking for just a distribution map of deserts, if that's what you're doing. What's your ideal weather on a first date? So it gives you, if you're a terrestrial biome, you're going to insert a picture of a climate diagram that includes temp and precipitation. If you're aquatic, you're going to list some things. So you're going to go through and you're going to answer all these questions. You have 3 slides worth of questions, and I'm giving you 2 days to do them. All right. So you're going to take these 3 slides, and over the next 2 days, you're going to finish these completely. When you come to class on Friday, you should have all of this done. All of it. Don't come to class with like 1 slide answered. If you do, you're not going to be able to participate. All right, so I'm expecting you to have all 3 slides done. Okay? If you have any questions, today I'm meeting with A and C. Tomorrow I'll meet with B and C. Feel free to ask during class or office hours. All right, I will see you guys today, tomorrow, and Friday. Bye.